Hello, everyone, and thanks for coming today. Who was Richard Armbruster to me? Well, he was my dad, and to me, the difference between a father and a dad is a father is someone that gives you life, and a dad is someone that raises you and teaches you their values and sometimes their mannerisms. Sometimes I see Richard's mannerisms in some of the things I do. I think I can remember the first time that I realized that Richard became my, well, I won't say became my dad, but when I realized that he was my dad. I had gotten into a fight with this neighborhood kid, and he actually got the better of me, and I ran into the house, and Richard, I think, was in the family room and heard the commotion of me running into the house, and I ran into the kitchen and I grabbed a rather large carving knife, and I was headed back outside to, I don't know, I really don't know whether I was going to scare the kid with the knife or what, but Richard wouldn't let me go back outside. He stood between me, this knife, and the doorway, and he wouldn't let me go. And I kept yelling at him to get out of the way, and he refused, and it got kind of heated to the point where he slapped me in the face, which it shocked me. I kind of was stunned and didn't know what to do. So I kind of threw the knife up in the air, and it stuck into the ceiling. At which point I think I ran outside and I said some choice words to the kid, and I went back in the house and pried the knife out of the ceiling, washed it off, and put it away. But at that point, I didn't ever think of saying, you're not my father, or you can't tell me to do these things. I don't have to listen to you. And years later, I think back on that, and I think how brave he was to stand between me and that doorway when I had a knife in my hand, and I was angry. I also thought why he would do something like that, and I realized that he cared enough about me not to let me go outside with that knife and make a huge mistake. And that's I think when I realized that he was my dad, and I'm gonna miss him a lot. Richard Arthur Armbruster was a husband, a dad, a model railroader, a computer technician, a moviegoer, which I don't know if I liked going to the movies with him all too much. That movie better have been perfect, or he was going to go try to find the manager. He was also a restaurateur. In his early days, I shouldn't say his early days, up until he started slowing down, I should say. He kept himself busy. He had plenty of honey-do lists, and he did what I call piddled around the house, getting those things done. And he was a pleasure to live with most of the time. I'm not going to say everything was sugary and sweet. We had our times. He, for the most part, was a very agreeable person, and he took very good care of my mother with her whims and taking trips and going out to places they wanted to go to, wineries or new restaurants or anything that tickled their fancy. I think he was a very good companion for my mother and a very good dad for me. He's going to be missed for sure. I know he had friends that have come and gone throughout his life that he's remembered and had plenty of stories about. I just remembered one which was involved his friend Tony and a pile of rocks in their first meeting, and being able to hit Tony from a pile of rocks. And I'm talking about a pile of rocks in a quarry in Miami, like 50 foot tall. I don't know the whole story, but I remembered the gist, and he was good at helping you to remember the important parts of things like that.